We're on Eruvin, Perik Yud Mishnah Yud Aleph, 11th Mishnah and the 10th chapter of Eruvin. In the last Mishnah, we learned about a neger. A neger is a deadbolt that you stuck into the ground. So today we're going to continue discussing that and the difference between the Beit Hamikdash and the rest of the world. It says in Mishnah, neger anigrar. If I have this deadbolt, but it's nigrar, it's kashur bedelit, it's tied to the door, aval eno talui bo, but it's not hanging. Shachever lakashur bo aroch. Now we're talking about a neger. Last time we learned it, we had a neger that had a glustera, but this neger doesn't have a glustera. So there's a real problem, because if you take it's like a piece of rebar in a sense. If you take rebar and stick it in the doorway, it's like you're completing and now the door locks. Now it's like you're completing the building. It really looks like bonnet. So the fact that it's connected, by the way, he has all these different girsart. Is it hanging or not hanging? But it's a nigrar. It's on the ground. So the fact that it's connected, does that mean that it's not like bonnet or not? So the Mishnah is going to say it depends. According to the Tanakama, neger anigrar. If I have this connected, this tied piece of bolt that I'm going to bolt into the ground. No'alim bo b'mikdash, avalo b'medina. If I'm in the Beit Hamikdash, then I can lock the doors in the Beit Hamikdash. Avalo b'medina, but I'm not in the rest of the world. Medina is anything that's not the Beit Hamikdash. Okay, what's the difference between the Beit Hamikdash and the rest of the world? There's no din. There's a rule called shvut, and there's a rule of ein shvut b'mikdash. Dinei d'Rabbanan, gzeirot of d'Rabbanan don't apply in the Beit Hamikdash. They had to apply din d'oraita, the Torah law, but the din d'Rabbanan they did not apply. So therefore, according to the Tanakama, neger anigrar, attaching this is a din d'Rabbanan, shvut ba'almahu. Okay, therefore, eno boneh mamash, it's not a real building. Ela b'pnei shenigrar, because it's nigrar michzei kiboneh, it looks like you're boneh. Ve'ein shvut b'mikdash, and there's no din of shvut b'mikdash. But hamunach, if it's not connected at all, if it's just left lying there, kan v'kan asur. It's asur both in the Medina, of course, because that's a d'Rabbanan, but also asur even in the Beit Hamikdash. Why? Havek binyan mamash, because it's like you're really building. So if I have this negrar that's nigrar, and I can't do it if it's, neger hamunach, that it's not connected, then it's like it's building, and therefore it's asur whether in the Medina or the Mikdash. Rabbi Yehuda says no. Hamunach mutar b'mikdash. Even if it's not connected, the munach is mutar in the Beit Hamikdash. Why? Because he must hold. Rabbi Yehuda says the neger hamunach is not binyan. Binyan. This neger munach. Even if it's not tied at all, it's only d'Rabbanan. Therefore, mutar b'mikdash. But that means the neger anigrar, that's nothing, and therefore mutar b'medina. Let me do a chart just so it's not confusing. You can stop the video and look at the chart. Tanakama says, the neger hanigrar, if it's tied, it's connected, since the neger hanigrar is mishum shvut, therefore that explains why in the Mikdash you can do it, in the Medina you can't. But the neger amunach, if it's not tied, it's boneh mamash, and therefore he says not null at all. I always find when I have a chart, it helps me understand, like I can see it better. So therefore that's why the neger hanigrar no alim in this one, but neger hamunach lo no alim, because that's real building. Whereas Rabbi Yehuda, look at what we have. The neger hamunach, he said, is where there's a difference. So he must hold that neger hamunach, that's a din d'Rabbanan. There we go. Ho'il v'kashur, one second. Asur mishum michzei kibona. It looks like bona. That's the shvut. And therefore, that's the difference between the Mikdash and the not. But neger hanigrar, he says, that's not bona at all. That's nothing. And therefore, he says, you're allowed to do it even b'medina. We'll stop here. As always, comments or questions, email me at rspolter@gmail.com, and we'll dedicate our learning to the memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Have a great day.